As you lie down at night, staring into the ever increasing void of your ceiling, that one particular wall in your room, that place where your face always seems to line up with, or perhaps the night sky through your window, what are the thoughts that come to mind? A reflection of how your day was, what you'll have for breakfast, the exact number of polka dots on Tiffany's dress at work, and why all of them were red except for that one yellow. Soup. A soup may be defined as a liquid dish typically made by boiling meats, fish, vegetables in a stock or water. But it's also everything that conjures up the idea of soup in our minds. Tomato, chili, chicken tortilla, my mind at 2 a.m. as I'm writing this script. Does that make my thoughts soup? And if the old adage holds true, I think therefore I am, does that mean the boiling concoction of thoughts in my head make me soup? See, we view the world through a very specific set of lenses. There are two of them, in fact, one left and one right. And as the photons that are constantly being reflected off of everything enter into them, they are sent to a series of organs that turn them into electrical impulses and sends them to the brain. A hunk of fatty meat suspended within a liquid that would almost certainly be constituted as a stock. It's the main organ that keeps us going. Receiving inputs from the rest of the body and then issuing commands out to pick up that paper, hit the subscribe button, eat that delicious meal. But it never has the opportunity to reflect on itself. It only sees the body as it's reflected back, a container for the sentient soup. These random thoughts that come to you as you're trying to sleep, work, relax, socialize, etc., are intrusive and irritating, much like the hair within your soup. They're upsetting, derailing, and chilling, turning your once productive hot soup of thought into a cold gazpacho of distraction, anxiety, and existential dread. After all, why did it have to be soup? Why here? Why now? Well, the truth of the matter is that it's always been soup. As we look out on the planet upon which we live on, we see more and more soup. I mean, at the source, it's a commonplace to encounter, but it also makes up 71% of our planet. What would the lakes, rivers, and oceans be if not the biggest soup? A large body of water filled with flavorings in the form of salts and other chemicals, being boiled away by the sun at its surface and by thermal vents down below. Full of the largest collection of animals and plants. An ecological nightmare of soup, when you really think about it. The growing number of questions about this soupy reality just keep mounting and mounting, and at this point it's difficult to ask the question, are even relevant. I mean, what is the flavor of soup? Does the lake soup taste differently from the ocean soup, and why? Is there a perfect type of soup? How do I stop thinking about soup? I don't think I can. As we zoom out from the planet, we see our solar system and think that this surely must be where the soup ends. But it's not, because we can keep going. But we need to zoom back in real quick. A liquid is just a substance that flows freely but maintains a constant volume. Given the proper heat and pressure, just about anything could become a liquid. But it's not entirely necessary. Sand will flow like a liquid when poured from a container. It's the primary reason the hourglass will. The major difference between it and water is that the particles of sand are much larger, and the atomic structure isn't as free to interact and readily bond. But that doesn't stop it from behaving like a liquid when it's contained. Although it is a bit denser and less conforming than water. At this point, I think it's fairly easy to see that soup isn't just soup. It's the swirling collection of thoughts locked deep within your head that rarely come out. But Once they do, it's hard to get rid of them. See, you don't usually end up with one bowl of soup when you cook. It's a whole pot. Sometimes it's two or three. But unlike cooking for your family and friends or even meal prepping, you don't have anywhere for this kind of soup to go except into yourself. Our galaxy is a swirling mess of gases, rocks, and liquids, all circling around a supermassive black hole at the center. But as you've guessed it, this is nothing more than a soup. One that contains all that we have interacted with and most likely ever will be able to interact with. But our own personal cosmic soup is but a small serving. There are more galaxies of star-powered soup in the universe than one can ever imagine. And as we gaze out upon them, surely think that this must be where the soup ends. They float freely among the empty void of space, each independent, and while they crash into each other, there's no way that they could possibly be part same soup. Our eyes have once again filtered out the soupy truth of what really lies out. While we cannot see that which connects the galaxies together, there has to be some kind of liquid-like substance upon which they move. Dark matter makes up 27% of all the mass in the universe and accounts for roughly 85% of the matter in the universe. It forms an interconnected web around all that which we know and see, making the dots of light that consist of all the galaxies a small part of the cosmic soup that is our universe. Meaning that no matter where you go, you're always a part of soup. I think we can drop all the metaphors at this point, seeing as how we're at the end of the video. We all have either had an intrusive thought that leads to an existential crisis, or will have one at some point in life. Be it about soup, love, life, whatever random thought happens to pop into your head whenever it happens. There's a lot of science that goes behind explaining these phenomenon that I am nowhere near qualified to actually explain. I'm just some random guy on the internet making videos about the random thoughts that pop into my head, or the ones that I procure from my friends, family, people who watch these videos. If you're still trying to figure out what was the point of this video, so am I. So tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and subscribe to the video so that way you can stick around and see the next one. Maybe we'll figure out what the real meaning is to soup.